All right, everybody, welcome back to another one. It's finally time to get back underway here with the Fall Brawl Series. I took a little bit of a break last week. There's just a lot of stuff going on, so we didn't get as much out last week as usual, but part of that is because I've actually been getting into taking YouTube a little bit more seriously lately, putting out normal content. It has been paying off, and I mean, if I can keep making money from it, then I'll be able to start going to more shows in real life as well. So, all sorts of exciting things happening there. But anyway, fans, we're back in the Fall Brawl series. We are back on Series East. There are all sorts of exciting things waiting to happen, and this track is amazing. So we are here in Ionia, Michigan, and there is just all sorts of things going on. You know, some crazy car stacks over here, a backflip ramp, some great bus hits. I mean, there is some of everything, some technical ramps. Really a lot to be excited by on this floor that will all be happening today. So, we have all sorts of stuff coming your way. As you know, here we do 3 competitions. We start at racing, then we do best trick, and we end with freestyle. So, racing, we always like to spice it up a little bit because it is timed racing. I try to, find a bit of an exciting way to interpret the course so that it's more fun than just watching a truck drive in a straight line. So, we'll demonstrate that shortly, but first let's go over the point standings. So currently, one second here, currently leading the points on this series is Koehler in Mayhem, and second place is Joe Foley in Axe. And as we make our way down the bracket, third place is Tim Jones in Tailgator, Brandan Tulachka in Just Get Her Done 2, John Gordon in Bad Company, Jon Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity, Jim Koehler in Avenger, Kevin Crocker in Brutus, Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar, and finally Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. So the racing competition here, or should I say timed racing, the order of competitors will be based off of those series standings. So, coming up first here, behind the wheel of Just Get Her Done is going to be Makayla Tulachka. Now with that, we're also going to have to demonstrate here what that racing course does look like, because of course, we do timed racing, but as I was just saying, I don't want these to just be, normal straight line uses of the course. If it's going to be only one truck out there on the track, we're going to find a way to make it exciting. So, Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done will be coming out first here. You can see that track is actually a little bit slick. So this first thing right here, this is just going to be a demonstrational pass. So this is not going to be Makayla's real pass. This is just to demonstrate how this racing course will work. So they're going to start back here, about parallel with that little tractor over there. I just completely skid steer. Parallel with that, they're going to start here. They're going to make their way up and over this jammer. Then they're going to come down this straightaway, up and down the roller, over this racing lane, and this is where it's going to get exciting. If Makayla gets some big air, they're going to come all the way down here, all the way around this bus, and then it is just full speed ahead across that other racing lane, and that is going to be how this racing course goes. So coming up first here will be Makayla Tulachka and the Just Get Her Done. I do apologize, I don't know what happened, but my racing and skills things for these in-between portions disappeared. So I'm going to have to make new ones before the next stream. So for now, the thumbnail is going to be that placeholder screen. As we prepare for Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done to do her racing pass, right now some things are being changed to in the settings to try and make this run a little smoother. And then we're going to get right back into it. So I do believe we are about ready to go here. Keep in mind, fans, 10 competitors, 3 competitions, 1 trophy at the end of the season. As we get ready to get underway here, just trying to fix through some issues. I want these to be the highest quality events I can possibly put out, and that does mean doing what I can to reduce lag where I can. So, Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done. Out there on the track, getting ready to go. Now, fans, I should say with all this BeamNG action going on, there's some other big discussions to be had as we talk about the channel here. This weekend is a full schedule front to back. So it's going to be All-Star Monster Trucks Friday, Monster Jam Saturday, back to All-Stars Sunday. It does not get much more exciting than that. So, my apologies here, fans. Again, just trying to sort through a couple things, but it looks like we are about ready to start heading into that action once again. So, the order here in racing is going to be Makayla, Tulachka, and then Jon Zimmer Sr., Kevin Crocker, Jim Koehler, Jon Zimmer Jr., John Gordon, Brandan Tulachka, Tim Jones, Joe Foley, and finally, ending out the racing competition will be Chris Koehler in Mayhem. Now, Chris Koehler, he is your current series leader, and I mean, obviously you have to be consistent to lead a tour, but I mean, I think Chris is really getting overlooked here. Not to say that necessarily, because I mean, he is leading and getting acknowledged as the leader, but I mean, he got a full event sweep earlier this season. That might not always sound like a lot, but in a 10-truck field, that's a pretty big deal to completely sweep a show like that. And Chris Koehler did it like it was nothing. No one even came close to him. So that's what made that such a spectacular moment. Again, I do apologize for this big break. There was a little bit of a crash there with BeamNG as I was trying to sort through some things, but we got those all figured out. Now we are awaiting Makayla Tulachka to hit the track. So as you saw, that Just Get Her Done machine was out there. Took her back for a moment as we tried to figure some things out, and now we are awaiting her again. So once you hear that engine fire, we will know it's time to get back going. Again, I do apologize for the slow start to this show. We had some technical difficulties. But I believe everything is back, sorted out, and ready to go. So fans, if you're ready for the big show to get underway, well, now's about your time, because it's time to get into the timed racing competition. And coming up first is Makayla Tulachka and Just Get Her Done. So timed racing, of course, you just saw that racing course. Those of you who are not here for that, because I know that was a few minutes ago, well, you're going to see it be demonstrated right here in Makayla Tulachka's real racing pass. So, we're going to see how this goes here. Keep in mind, that part that the drivers are looking out for is to be staged against that skid steer over there. Looks like Makayla has that figured out and is ready to go here in timed racing. And Makayla Tulachka is off the line in the Just Get Her Done machine. Some tough luck there getting over that jammer, but looks like everything held up alright. So now she just has to try and keep this pass fast all the way through. Gotta be honest though, this is not the cleanest pass we have seen here. I mean, I say that, and there hasn't really been any other passes, but compared to her practice pass, I mean, I wouldn't even say that was as good as it. Oh! Makayla Tulachka getting a little out of hand over there. Actually going to pull out a little bit of a save at the end of her racing pass. Now, as you know, that was your first competitor here in racing, so that does set the bar. And it's going to be a 24.32. Not a super good time, I don't think. I didn't time her practice pass, or I guess her demonstration pass, but it seemed better than that. We'll have to figure it out though as we proceed through this competition. As coming up next to the track, we have Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar. So Jon Zimmer Sr., you want to talk about someone who might have an advantage in a competition. How about a veteran like Jon Zimmer Sr.? He is the longest running competitor in this entire lineup, so he has the experience backing him. But can he live up to the status of his career? That is the question. I'm not sure what's going on with that body. Maybe a hyper chrome body or something. Having a hard time seeing that a little bit, but Jon Zimmer Sr., I'm sure he'll destroy this body sooner or later anyway. As he is getting ready to go here in racing. And he is off the line. Big wheelie right there. So, talk about starting to pass on a jammer. Well, I'm sure that won't be the last big wheelie we see here in racing. As Jon Zimmer Sr. and the almost blackout Uproar is doing actually really good. He just nailed that turn full speed ahead across the finish line. I mean, that was a very, very nice pass right there for John Gordon. Sorry, we're not to John Gordon quite yet. For Jon Zimmer Sr. and the Uproar. So he is going to take home the lead right here in the racing competition. I was going to say that whole time to beat thing, but I just kind of spoiled it with him already being the leader. He took home a 22.71. That is almost a 2-second difference from Makayla's time. So, Jon Zimmer Sr. not really having any troubles becoming your new leader here in racing. Now, fans, coming up next is someone we don't know as a racer, but has actually been getting a few semi-decent passes off this year. Coming up next to the track, the first Team Scream competitor we are seeing tonight won't be the last. It's Kevin Crocker and Brutus. So Kevin Crocker, I mean, you know, he's one of those guys who, he'll go out there, he'll burn it down, but he won't really win or, you know, be the fastest. He'll just go and put on the show that all the fans want to see. And I think that alone is something very, very exciting about Kevin Crocker's driving style. However, I wouldn't say it'll help him out in this competition. We'll just have to wait and see for that, as he is station ready. Kevin Crocker and Brutus up and over that jammer. Very nicely done. I will say, though, I mean, I don't think Kevin Crocker should really struggle with this track too much, because there is only one turn in it, and I think that's going to make this the most consistent racing competition yet. There's only one turn. There shouldn't really be too much struggling with this track. So, there we go. Up and over those crush cars. You'd love to see some of that from Kevin Crocker and the Brutus machine. So, that time to beat does belong to Jon Zimmer Sr. He put down a time of a 22.71. The time for Kevin Crocker. Brutus is a 22.74. That's going to be enough for second place currently in timed racing. So, Kevin Crocker, he put down a pretty good effort right there. I'll give him that. I mean, he was driving that truck as hard as he could down those straightaways. You could hear that he was kind of all the way on the gas, but unfortunately, you know, you gotta be on your toes when you're in these racing competitions, as they do get really competitive, and unfortunately there, did not quite see the speed we needed for Kevin Crocker. Fans, we're not done with Team Scream yet. I was just saying that. We're actually going to throw it to Team Scream again. Coming up next, please welcome Jim Koehler and the Avenger. Jim is, I mean, if we're talking about no stranger to a monster truck, you have to mention Jim Koehler. And actually, I think I wasn't correct earlier. I said Jon Zimmer Sr. was the longest running competitor. Well, no, we have Jim Koehler out here. And he's actually going to take that away from Jon Zimmer Sr. But they both are very decorated veterans, and they both deserve some credit for that. With Jim Koehler, though, having pretty unmatched experience behind the wheel of a truck. Will that experience translate to talent? Let's find out. Oh, wow. Jim Koehler had probably the slowest up and over for that jammer so far. That might really hurt his pass here, depending on what he can do here in this final stretch of the course. Yeah, that's going to do it right there. He's going to oversteer. Undershoot the turn. Huge air. Jim Koehler trying to make up the speed he can across that final jump. So Jim Koehler and Avenger clearly having to put in all the effort there. But unfortunately, that big mistake he made in the turn is going to cost him is a 21 point... Wait! Oh, never mind. I thought that was a 22.94. No, Jim just got a 21.94, and he actually is going to take the lead. So I was wrong. I was saying all that stuff. Jim made too many mistakes. He's not going to make it. Well, apparently I was wrong. Jim actually does take the lead by almost a full second. So props to Jim Koehler. That is a testament to his decorated career there, as he is able to get it all done. Even with a couple mistakes, he still knew how to correct from them. And I think if I had to go based off what I saw right there, I would say Jim Koehler had the most speed up and down those straightaways, which is definitely what you're gonna need here to win racing. I mean, this usually some courses are a little bit more turn focused. This course is all about speed. The faster you can go down those straightaways, the better you're gonna place, and I think that Jim Koehler noticed that and seized the opportunity, as Jon Zimmer Jr. Terminal Velocity is up next here on the track. So Jon Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity, one of those guys who you really just have to see what he can do. He is just, I mean, he's like the Weston Anderson of Independence. Him and Zach Garner, oh no! Oh, that is not good for Jon Zimmer Jr. He has destroyed the body. Fortunately, it looks like all the important pieces of that truck held up. So, I mean, that should at least get him some fortunate comings in the skills challenge. I don't know why I worded the start of that sentence weird. That should be a good thing for Jon Zimmer Jr., as that does mean he doesn't have to make any repairs really in the little intermission here before he comes out for skills, because I mean, all it was the body. You don't really need that. But I mean, point still stands. He just got a DNF, and that puts him in last place right now out of 5 drivers, which is a pretty big deficit. So, I mean, Jon Zimmer Jr. very well might place in last place here, depending on how these next few drivers do. The only way for him to not get last place is if another driver DNFs, and honestly, with this course, I don't think that's super likely. So, Jon Zimmer Jr. finding himself in a very bad position today. But coming up next, from one John to another, it's John Gordon, Bad Company. John takes some big speed down that straightaway, almost hitting the track official down there. Tech official, track official, they do all kinds of things. It's John Gordon and Bad Company. He's looking to get himself back up there. You know, he was leading the series after the first show, but very quickly that luck started to run out, and he found himself towards the bottom. So, John Gordon, Bad Company, he's looking to make a comeback. Nice off the line, nails that jammer. I think that, personally, I would say that is the best way you can handle that jammer. John Gordon, he's going to take a bit of a different approach for that jump. You saw Jon Zimmer Jr. try to take it tight. Well, John Gordon actually takes it really wide, and I think that was going to really benefit him right there, because it allowed him to swing into that turn. Whoa! What a move! He's got a flat tire, but I think the wow factor really makes up for it. I mean, not that you want a flat tire, but he just pulled off one of the craziest little save / combination maneuvers of the year. And bigger news, I mean, that was a picture perfect pass, and it's going to get him a 21.14. So really no struggle there. John Gordon becomes your new leader, and it's not even really that close. I mean, that is 0.8 of a second faster than Jim Koehler. That is a pretty big difference. So, huge congratulations as John Gordon makes up some big points that he has been missing out on. But we're not done yet. We still have 4 more drivers left to hit the track, and these drivers could all take it away from John Gordon and kind of ruin his good event here. Coming up first of those 4 is Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done too. So Brandan Tulachka, he is one of those guys who I'd say he's pretty technical, and sometimes that helps him out in freestyle, but racing, I think, is a little slept on, you know? No, he's not the fastest racer, but he's a fast racer, and you don't have to win them all to be good at it. And I think that's something that some people overlook with Brandan Tulachka as he's station ready. So Brandan Tulachka getting off the line here, looking to take it away from John Gordon. He has a bit of a hard landing down there coming off the downside of the jammer, but it's not going to hurt his pass at all. Now, how can he bring this to an end? Perfect turn right there. That is exactly what we are going to need to see some more of. Brandan Tulachka, ooh, straight into that car. It's going to pop him into a little bit of a wheelie as well. So, John Gordon, whoa, Jon Gordon, jeez, I'm just a little stuck on the last pass. Brandan Tulachka and the Just Get Her Done too. Sorry, I'm all over the place with these names today. I'm a little rusty. I don't even know if I did a show last week. I might have done one, but definitely no more than that. Brandan Tulachka, he's going to put down a 22.37. Really? I thought he had a pretty fast time. I mean, that's not a bad time. That does put him in third place, but I was feeling like he was going to be, you know, at least second, if not first, but apparently not. So, Brandan Tulachka currently sits third place here in racing. Well, only 3 competitors remain, and this is where things are going to get interesting, because these 3 last competitors are the ones who are really in the running still for that season chase. I mean, people like Brandan Tulachka and John Gordon, they're still kind of up there, but at the same time, they're so far behind that it would be really unlikely for them to win. But, you know, these next couple drivers, Tim Jones and Joe Foley, it's still very much in their sights to become the series leader, and I think that will push them to drive a little harder here, as Tim Jones and Tailgator is up next to the line. So, John Gordon, bad company, he was very fast out there, and all these drivers have really been struggling to keep up with that, but can they do it? Can these next drivers do it is what I should be saying. Well, Tim Jones and Tailgator is looking like it. Ooh, whoa, 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 maybe not. I props to him for somehow correcting himself there. He did get all 4 tires up and over that ramp, which is what he was trying to avoid, I assume. But, I mean, he is just overshooting all of these turns out here. Tim Jones and Tailgator, man, I don't know what happened out there. I mean, he is more of a freestyler. I think all the monster truck community could agree on that. But still, that was... I mean, man, he was everywhere on that pass, and it's going to be a 23.47. 23.47. That is not actually a good time at all. That is enough for 6th place currently. And that could drop to 8th place depending on how these next 2 competitors do. So Tim Jones losing out on a big number of points here. Hopefully he can make some back later. But in the meantime, fans, 2 more competitors to go here in racing, both out of that Team Screen camp. And the first of the 2, please welcome Joe Foley and Axe. He is coming full speed ahead down here as he's getting ready to go. Now keep in mind, Joe Foley, he did get the overall event win at the last show. Actually, I don't know. He might have got the overall. If anything, though, I do know he won racing at the last show in Gaithersburg. So Joe's coming off of a hot streak here in this racing competition. Can he keep that candle burning bright? That's what he's tasked with here in racing. And he's off. So Joe Foley and Axe, I mean, same story as Tim Jones. I think everyone would call him a freestyler. No one would call him a racer, but it doesn't make him a bad racer either. So Joe Foley and Axe coming out here. Oh no. I think he thought it was time for freestylers. He basically just went up there and started doing donuts on the bus ramp. And I mean, at this point, it's already too far gone for Joe Foley and Axe. Oh my goodness. He's going to try to make up some ground there in the home stretch, but he's going to plow it into those cars and get some pretty actually big breakage. So that is a 4-link bar. And the time is going to be a 28.53 as Joe Foley finds himself in 8th place currently. So a tough break there for the Axe camp. I mean, it was not a good pass, but the last thing you need to end a bad pass with is some truck damage, and well, Joe Foley's got some of that, so it shouldn't be anything too bad. He should still be able to come out for skills and do everything as usual, but you don't really want to break when you don't have to, and well, Joe Foley did just that. On that note, fans, there is only one competitor left to go. Now, this is the driver you got to watch out for. He's your defending season leader right now, and he has been on a streak. He has won racing several times this season, and he's looking to do it again. It's Chris Koehler and the Mayhem. So Chris Koehler and Mayhem coming out here. He's looking to take home a season win in that brand new identity, and I gotta be honest, he is very close to doing just that. I mean, really, it's pretty impressive how consistent Chris Koehler and Mayhem has been. And now he has the opportunity to take home another win if he can get fast right here. Chris Koehler, Mayhem stage, ready to go. Up and over that jammer, he's caught. Oh no! Oh my goodness, you have got to be kidding me. Chris Koehler and Mayhem comes out. He's your season leader. He's trying to defend his position. Goes to start his racing pass. Gets caught on the jammer. And rolls it. Trying to get off of the jammer. Unreal. You cannot make this stuff up. I mean, this stuff only happens in Chris Koehler's nightmares. This is going to have some pretty serious implications for that Mayhem machine. Because, I mean, Chris was looking really good this season. And, I mean, tonight he seemed like he was coming out confident. But maybe a little too confident because it's a really absurd mistake to crash in that way. So, big mistake by Chris Koehler. As I am taking a look here to see who that winner is. And count up the rest of those points as well. Fans, on that note, your winner here in racing, John Gordon, Bad Company. John Gordon trying to make the climb back up the points. But points here in racing are more interesting than just, you know, John Gordon winning. Chris Koehler and Mayhem, your defending series leader. Well, he currently sits in last place with 1 point on the event. Some other interesting things is the two drivers who were really in the spots to overtake Chris Koehler were Joe Foley and Tim Jones. But both of them got 5 points or less. So, really, they're not gaining as much on Chris Koehler as they would need to. And Chris could very easily make that ground back up. Makayla, Tulachka still struggling to get out of the bottom. Jim Koehler and Avenger is going to get 9 points. That might help him get out of that 7th place spot. Those are really all the big things you need to know, fans. And on that note, it's time to switch gears here and take it into that next competition. And I say, this competition is all about switching gears. Because it's time for the 2-wheel skills / best trick competition here in Ionia. And coming up first is a driver who really needs to prove something. It's Chris Koehler and Mayhem. Now, fans, do keep in mind, here in the 2-wheel skills / best trick competition, we do use fan judging. Same thing with freestyle that we'll get to later on tonight. So do stay engaged here as Chris Koehler and Mayhem coming up first. You know, coming up first like this for Chris Koehler, it's a bad feeling because you never want to be setting the bar for a competition. Sure, I mean, it can be a good thing because if you get a really high score, the competitors after you could have a really hard time beating it, but at the same time, it's very rare to see the first competitor in any competition win. and I'm sure this will be no exception. So Chris Koehler's got his work cut out for him, but I'm sure he's going to give it a try. As he's lining up on that backflip ramp. So Chris Koehler, he's going to give us something interesting here. Oh, no! No way! This is unreal. First, Chris Koehler gets a DNF and last place in racing. Then, he rolls immediately first hit in skills. Fans, I really don't know what to say. That's one of those things that it was so unreal that it probably looks scripted, but I'm telling you, fans, genuinely, neither that racing pass nor that skills run were supposed to go that way. Unreal. Not seeing any fan scores, so this is going to go to the experts there. And Chris Koehler and Mayhem, he's going home with a 2.104. Chris Koehler, what a loss for the Mayhem. Fans, we're going to keep things rolling here, though, as we prepare for a competitor who also had a very bad night in racing. This driver coming up next to the track is one who, unfortunately, just had some big issues. He rolled it very early, and he's looking to make some points back up, just like Chris Koehler is. Fans, coming up next to the track, please welcome Jon Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. Jon Zimmer Jr. Hold on, fans. Oh, sounded like some transmission issues, but looks like that's figured out there. As Jon Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity looks to make up some ground. 1 second here, fans. It looks like those are some transmission issues we are seeing. We're going to look to get those figured out here. And I believe we are ready to go. So, just had to reset a couple things there. As Jon Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity is opening, well, I shouldn't say opening skills, but Chris Koehler didn't really put much of an opening in, so might as well be opening here. Jon Zimmer Jr. Terminal Velocity. And I mean, even just one good hit from Jon Zimmer Jr. could really get him some good points. Because, I mean, when Chris Koehler is setting the bar with 0 good hits and not even a second hit, I mean, really anything after that is going to be able to put down a decent score. As Jon Zimmer Jr. in Terminal Velocity, he is looking to do just that. Oh, wow! Jon Zimmer Jr. and Terminal Velocity. They call him the Combo King, and not for nothing. That was incredible. He's going to take a moonwalk clean into a wheelie for that first attempt. I mean, I think Jon Zimmer Jr. knows doing that move like the back of his hand. He has just perfected the art of the moonwalk combination. He still has one more hit to go. So if he can counter, or I guess follow that up with another good move, we might see a really big score here for Jon Zimmer Jr., who, like I said, was coming out here to make up some pretty big points after his loss in racing. And this is looking great. I mean, 2 hits that really this could become your winning run depending on how the rest of the night goes. And Jon Zimmer Jr. and Terminal Velocity, he's going to get a combination. He's going to get that slap moonwalk, a new move on the circuit, and he is back onto the front end. An unbelievable maneuver by the Terminal Velocity. He is balancing that truck, crab walking it across the track. Trying to combo it one more time, but he's going to set that down. Fans, let's hear it for Jon Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. 2 picture-perfect hits. I mean, that first hit was just a wonderful moonwalk into combination, but that second hit was just amazing. Moonwalk, slap walk, moonwalk again, combo into a little wheelie, back into another moonwalk. Sometimes I think Jon Zimmer Jr. just does moonwalks for fun in his free time. Unreal. I mean, just crazy. So that score to beat is a 2.104 for Chris Koehler and Mayhem. And that score for terminal velocity is a 9.591. Put him at the top. Jon Zimmer Jr. Terminal velocity is your new leader here in the two-wheel skills and best trick competition. Fans, we're going to move it into that next competitor. Coming up next, he is repaired from his crash earlier tonight. It's Joe Foley and Axe. Joe Foley coming out here. This is not really his star competition, but sometimes he does pull out some pretty cool things, so we'll have to see what he can do here. Slinging that around, he might have something in mind. Back to that ramp where racing started for everyone. Oh, he is not going to get what he was looking for. Oh, man, trying to salvage it a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good by Joe Foley to set that down, because I was getting very close to not being one attempt. Joe's going to go for a slap wheelie, not going to pull it off in these slick track conditions, which means only one hit left to go for that Axe machine. And he's going to have to do something big, or else he's going to miss out on some pretty big points here. Joe Foley, he's already off to a pretty rough start tonight. He's going to go in for a bicycle attempt, and he is not going to get a bicycle out of it. So that is 2 unsuccessful moves for the Axe machine. And I mean, that's never a position you want to be in, especially after crashing and racing. Joe Foley and Axe just threw away, I think, every opportunity he gained in the last event to become the series leader at this event. I mean, that was just not it. Score to beat, 9.591 for terminal velocity. The score for Axe is... it's a 4.961. 4.961. That is currently enough for second place. Although I'm sure that won't be second place for too long. It's not too common that scores in the 4s end up on the podium. So Joe Foley and Axe giving it his best effort, but unfortunately not really getting much of anything out there. Well, fans, we're going to move it over to your next competitor. Coming up next, it's Makayla Tulachka. Just get her done. Makayla, she currently sits last place, so if she wants to have her big 2026 season, she's going to have to pick it up about now, but might be too late. We're going to have to find out, though, as she is getting staged and ready for hit number 1. On to the front end for the Just Get Her Done. Very nicely done by Makayla Tulachka. She's actually going to walk this back up the ramp. Look at that. Very, very rare maneuver, and she is going to stall it out right there. Looked like she was trying to give it a little bit more, but the truck just wasn't agreeing with it. One more hit for the Just Get Her Done machine. See, looks like she's already got something in mind. Huge sky wheelie. Gonna combo it as well. So, Makayla, whoa. That was a close call on just about every level. Almost hit the building, almost hit a trailer, almost hit a track official. Makayla Tulachka just got a little bit crazy out there on that attempt. Crazy moves by the Just Get Her Done machine. That score to beat belongs to Jon Zimmer Jr. in terminal velocity. He got a 9.591. That score for Just Get Her Done is... it's going to be a 7.015. Not a bad score, maybe a little bit low. I would say both of those were successful hits, so I would expect maybe a little bit of a higher score, but I would see how it doesn't quite compare to what we have seen so far tonight. Well, fans, coming up next, please welcome Tim Jones, Tailgator. You want to talk about not someone's star competition? Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that Tim Jones is not going to monster truck shows for the sake of the two-wheel skills challenge. I'd say this is probably his his least known competition, but he does pull out some pretty interesting tricks sometimes, so I'll be interested to see what he goes for here tonight. Keep in mind that score to beat is very high, so these drivers are going to be under some added pressure because of that. Tim Jones and Tailgator, that is your first attempt. Fans, you might not have caught that, but he went in there for the butt kicker, and there was just not quite the room to pull it off. One more hit to go for the Tailgator. Tim Jones going for maybe a wheelie, maybe a flip, I don't know, but it is not going to be successful. He is on the lid, up and over, and that was a pretty rough run there for Tim Jones. Neither hit went how he wanted it to, and that second hit was, well, you could say it was a hit, because that truck did hit the ground pretty hard. Lucky that there's no cage damage, because that could have taken him out of freestyle tonight, but you really need to hit freestyle. So, here's what's interesting. Chris Koehler, Joe Foley, and Tim Jones were the ones really looking good on the season, but none of them have had a great first two competitions at this show. So, points are going to look really interesting after this event. Regardless, though, scores are locked, and that score for the Tailgator is a 4.301. That is enough for 4th place currently, 4.301 for Tim Jones and the Tailgator. Well, fans, we're going to take it into that next competitor. We are officially halfway into this competition. Halfway to go. Coming up next, please welcome Kevin Crocker and the Brutus. Kevin Crocker, still a rising star here in the two-wheel stills competition. I wouldn't say it's his prized thing quite yet, but sometimes he pulls out some pretty cool moves, so I'll be interested to see what he can put in here tonight, as he is getting ready to go. So Kevin Crocker and the Brutus, here he goes. First attempt, huge wheelie, oh man. And it is gonna, oh, he's just sliding down that ramp. It's going to be another early ending to a run as Kevin Crocker and Brutus goes up and over on the first hit. This is the most chaotic show I think we have had all season, and not in a good way. It's just been crash after crash after crash and a plethora of not great scores. So, we haven't seen the score quite yet, but I can't imagine it'll be good. That score beat 9.591 for terminal velocity. The score for Brutus is a 3.195. That is currently enough for 5th place here in the skills competition. On that note, fans, only 4 competitors remain, and this is where things are going to get interesting because all these drivers are in the runnings. One second here, fans. We do look to keep things going. And on that note, there are only 4 competitors left, and we're going to get into them right away. So coming up next to the track, please welcome Send It Motorsports' own Jon Zimmer Sr. Uproar. Man, I'll tell you what, Jon Zimmer Sr., he is a rising star in the competition. He hasn't gotten to the point of, pulling off crazy combos quite yet, but he has found the balancing point. And that is very impressive, especially for a veteran. Sometimes they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, this guy said otherwise, and he has just been nailing some great nose wheelies lately. So we're going to have to see if he can do that again here. I guess he did not like that setup. This truck looking like a bit of a blackout machine, this Uproar. I'm not sure what that's all about tonight. That has not been happening the rest of the season. Maybe it is a new scheme. I don't know. But Jon Zimmer Sr. in the Uproar, he's getting ready to go. On to those front 2 BKTs, and he is walking it. I was just saying this. He is getting so good at these nose wheelies. Let's see how long he can take this on for. Wow, he is just letting this keep on going. Giving it a little bit of steering as well. Jon Zimmer Sr., look at this. This is unreal. He is going to set it down on the opposite end of the track. It is very rare to see a younger driver get a move like that, let alone a veteran like Jon Zimmer Sr., who's still new to doing that kind of thing. So that was incredible for the Uproar. He still has one more move left. Back onto those front two tires. So I thought maybe he'd go for a wheelie or get some variety, but he is just really trying to show off his newfound balance in this Uproar machine, and he's doing a great job at that, as he is going to set it down once again. So Jon Zimmer Sr. and the Uproar posing for you fans as he brings that run to an end. Well, that is some good stuff there. And, I mean, it is about time that we finally see some consistency. We had some consistency earlier, but that was from, well, Jon Zimmer Sr.'s own son. So, clearly some family success here in Michigan, as they're just living it up out here. But, is it enough? That is the question at hand. Because, at score to beat, it's a 9.591 for terminal velocity. The score for Jon Zimmer Sr. Uproar is... It's a 9.196, currently enough for second place. And that is huge for Jon Zimmer Sr., because I'll say, he has been having an awful season so far. He could not get out of those bottom two spots, but so far he's placed 4th in a competition, and now he is sitting 2nd in a competition. This is going great for Jon Zimmer Sr., and hopefully he can keep it up. He is currently 2nd place here in the two-wheel skills competition. Fans, on that note, only 3 competitors remain. This is where it's going to get down to the wire, and everyone's going to start pulling out some tricks we maybe have not even seen yet. Coming up first of those 3, it's John... Whoa, not even a John. I was thinking of John Gordon coming out last. It's Brandan Tulachka. Just get her done too. To see this truck much better than you can see Uproar, he's getting ready to go. And a beautiful execution there. Man, I'll say Brandan Tulachka has his truck figured out. He knows how to balance this truck any which way. And he is just keeping this thing going on a nose wheelie. One hand on the wheel, one hand on the shifter. You know how to do these technical maneuvers just like that. And he is just walking this back and forth. Amazing talent on display for Just Get Her Done too. And he is just keeping this going. He's going to actually try and take this all the way back to that starting obstacle, and he almost comboed it up. So, great hit right there for Brandan Tulachka. He just went a little crazy out there. He still has one more hit to go, and if he can keep that truck as balanced as he did right there, now we might have a new leader as well. But we're gonna have to see though, because I mean, Jon Zimmer Jr. did have some great combination maneuvers, and so far we've seen good balance, but nothing groundbreaking for Brandan Tulachka. So we're gonna have to see something a little different here. Keeping a very steady pace, though. I'll give him credit for that. I mean, just letting the truck fall forward and let himself catch it. That's what it's all about here on these skills moves. And he might have found that balancing point, fans. Take a look at that. Oh, and if you look at that windshield, he has shut off the power, fans. This truck is balancing on those front 2 tires, and Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done 2 is no longer driving. I mean, that truck is just sitting there. Straightening it out, turns it back on, and he just goes right back into the maneuver like nothing ever happened. Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done 2 clearly has pushed the limits for what this competition is about. He is just keeping this going. That is what is so amazing about this attempt. Nothing is stopping him. Look at this balance. I mean, all the way over to the other end of the track. Now, what can he do from here? He's kind of in a point where I think he just has to set it down, and that is what he's going to do. Let's hear it for Brandan Tulachka. Just get her done, too. Well, I would say that is the coolest skills runner, at least top 5, that we have seen all season. Not because it was something, you know, some crazy big move or save or anything like that. It was just the best balance that we have seen and that I have ever seen in a monster truck. Brandan Tulachka has got that truck to a point that I don't even think Tom Meents could get as technical as he does. That was absolutely unbelievable. Score to beat is a 9.591 for Jon Zimmer Sr. terminal velocity. The score tonight for Brandan Tulachka, just get her done 2, is a 9.719, which means he is going to get it done. Brandan Tulachka and Just Get Her Done 2 is your new leader here in the two-wheel skills and best trick competition. Man, I'm not surprised to see him take that lead, but it is interesting because he didn't have a crazy combo, but I mean, then again, that balance is just absolutely unmatched. There are only 2 competitors remaining, and the first of those 2 drivers is coming out here. It is Jim Koehler in the Avenger. Man, Jim has been getting really fun to watch in this competition during 2025. He started to learn from Chris Koehler and been doing some crazy sidewalls and things like that, but this track is pretty slick, so I don't know if he's going to be able to pull out those same kinds of moves out here in Ionia. Regardless, though, he is going to take full speed into that ramp. Oh, no! And Jim Koehler and Avenger having the same luck as his teammate Kevin Crocker goes in for a big wheelie and is going to get a big disappointment as he's going to go head over heels onto the lid. Well, that is not the first time we've seen that. Might not even be the last time we see that, with all the freestyle still yet to go. A very tough break there for the Avenger machine. That score to beat is a 9.719. That is belonging to Just Get Her Done 2. The score for Jim Koehler and Avenger is... it's a 3.291. Not enough for that top spot. Well, fans, it all comes down to this. Only one competitor is left. He is your racing winner, and he's looking to double down. Please welcome John Gordon and Bad Company. John Gordon has just been having such a good night so far. He's had such rough luck at the last few shows, and taking home a win to kick off the event, it's got to feel good. But I don't know if he's going to be able to double down, honestly. We have seen some crazy things, and, well, this isn't exactly John Gordon's competition. He can do cool things, but I don't know if I'd say it's typical for him to win out here. Regardless, we'll see what he can do as he is setting up for this first hit now. Trying to balance it on those front 2 tires, and he did find that balancing point. So, John Gordon and Bad Company, if he can do some things successfully that we have not seen yet, I think he could break his way into podium, but he's going to have to do something pretty cool that is considered revolutionary in comparison to what we have seen so far. And I'll give him credit. This is an amazing balancing act. Huge nose wheelie. Now going to moonwalk it. Maybe trying to combo a little bit there. As John Gordon and Bad Company sets it down. He still does have one more hit left. And I mean, that's a good way to set the bar for a run, you know? Not anything extraordinary, but just a nice, successful hit. One more move to go for Bad Company, and he's not going to get it. I was just talking about these slick track conditions and how they got in the way of people like Joe Foley, who was trying to do bicycles, and, well, same thing is going to happen for John Gordon. He is not going to find any tackiness in that dirt, and that bicycle is going to immediately set itself down. Well, fans, score to beat is a 9.719. And the score for Bad Company is... it's a 7.291. Not enough for that top spot. Well, fans, that means your winner in skills is Brandan Tulachka, and Just Get Her Done too. So Brandan, he is having the night of his life. He has got 18 points so far. That is massive. He is right on track to become the overall event champion if he can keep moving at that pace. He is having a great night, and honestly, with some more inconsistent drivers who have been out here, I'm glad to see someone making a little bit of a comeback. Because Brandan Tulachka could actually be having the series win in his sights at this point. Now, the other interesting thing is Jon Zimmer Sr. just placed 3rd place. He has been having such awful luck this season, but a 3rd place placement means he now has 15 points on the event. That is currently also 3rd place in the overall standings. So Jon Zimmer Sr. finally has been able to find his flow. I mean, he has been having such a rough season, and finally, after all those struggles, he has got himself in a position where he is back in, not the winning circle, but in the podium, and that's a great place to be. The other big thing, John Gordon, despite his rough luck there at the end of his attempt, is still sitting in 2nd place in the overall chase, and actually by a pretty good amount. He's only 1 point out from that current overall lead. So John Gordon and Bad Company is in a pretty confident position as we prepare for the last competition of the night, fans. That's right. Get ready, because it's time for freestyle. 1 second here, fans. Looks like we are having some technical difficulties once again. We have been having a lot of these today. These have... some sort of technical issues have been persisting for the past, like, 4 events in a row, and I don't know what that's all about. But fortunately, we have these ones figured out, and we're ready to get going here, fans. 10 trucks in freestyle. And the freestyle order, for those of you who are not aware, is based on overall standing. So the driver with the least points currently will go first. The driver with the most points currently will go last. So interesting things there for freestyle as we're getting ready to go, fans. So it's time to get started in freestyle. Coming up first, Koehler and Mayhem. Now, for a little while, Koehler was leading the points, but I don't know if he still is after how the show has been going. I mean, it has been rough luck just repeatedly for that Mayhem machine. And, I mean, this is really Koehler's only opportunity to make some points back. Oh, my apologies, fans. Looks like we are having some issues here. Alright, there we go. We should be back up and running there. Again, these technical difficulties, man, they have been everywhere this season, but I do believe we are back and ready to go. There's an issue there where the BeamNG was not quite loading in, but from what I can tell, things should work properly from here. Yes, they are. So Koehler and Mayhem, he is kicking off freestyle. I mean, if anyone has something to prove right now, it's Koehler. He is really extremely close to being knocked straight out of that series lead, so he needs to figure his things out right now. And this is the only competition left to try and make up some ground once again. Huge air for the Mayhem, I'll give him that. You can tell he's playing to win right now. And I mean, he really has to, or else this season's kind of a bust for him. So Koehler and Mayhem coming out here. He is just trying to put on a show. And this huge air is a great way to kick it off. You know, a little bicycle. I mean, it's definitely cooler to see a bicycle like that when all the other ones tonight were completely unsuccessful. Koehler having some better luck and some huge air off that racing lane again. Oh no! Oh no! You've got to be kidding me! Chris Koehler and Mayhem just had what is effectively probably the worst event of his entire life. He got dead last in racing, he got dead last in skills, and he just left, gosh, what is that, 79 seconds on the clock in freestyle after exploding into flames. Well, this was not the show the Mayhem camp needed. I think Chris Koehler is probably actually knocked out of the series lead at this point because of how just rough this event has been. That is setting the bar tonight. If there are any fan scores, I'll take those into account right here, but it's not looking like it, so this is for the experts. And that score is going to be... it's a 4.916. Kicking things off tonight. Again, that is a 4.916 for the Mayhem machine as Chris Koehler sets the bar in a not very fortunate way. He is having such a bad event, and he might actually place dead last in freestyle too, depending on the luck of these next competitors. So, something to keep in the back of your mind there is, well, Chris Koehler's had some perfect events, now he's having the worst event possible. Fans, we're going to keep things going here. Coming up next, please welcome Kevin Crocker and Brutus. Kevin Crocker, he is an entertainer, and I mean, in a competition like freestyle, that's really what you want to be. You don't want to be a racer when it's time for freestyle. You want to be the entertainer that's going to pull out the crazy moves. And if anyone's going to do that, it'll be Kevin Crocker and Brutus. He's getting started here with some big air off the back side of that racing lane, combos it into a wheelie as well. So Kevin Crocker and the Brutus here are giving us a very nice start to the run, up and over those crush cars. Great little bit of a save as well, so... oh man, big nosedive right there. Kevin Crocker, he is putting on a great start to this run. He's going to learn from his mistakes and not go over this time. So the Brutus machine, clearly he is starting to learn as this event goes on, and really everyone's having troubles trying to do wheelies off these buses, so we might see less of that over time, but Kevin Crocker's clearly not afraid. He is just wheelies galore right now. I mean, he's done 4 or 5 wheelies in this run alone. This is crazy for the Brutus. And he is not even halfway through his run yet, so Kevin Crocker, ooh, a bad landing, but it looks like everything held up all right. Big air up and over those cars. Huge air. Take a look at that. The Brutus. Oh, man. Ouch. That truck, I props to Team Scream. That truck is holding up beautifully for the way Kevin Crocker has been landing. Still nothing groundbreaking yet. Just a whole lot of wheelies and some good air. There we go. If you want to take home a freestyle win, that's what we're going to need to see. Oh, no. Oh, what just happened? Fans, I'm not too sure what happened right there, but that's going to do it for Kevin Crocker and Brutus. Thank you all for taking a look at that freestyle run. What a run for Kevin Crocker. I don't know what happened at the end there. He went into a crazy crash, and somehow he was able to get back on all fours, but that was a little too wild out there. So Kevin Crocker and the Brutus, that run going to come to an end. Again, fans, I really don't know what happened right there. That was weird. But Kevin Crocker and the Brutus, let's hear it one more time for that performance. He was going crazy. Big air, big wheelies. I'm sure he wasn't looking to be done quite yet, but that crash was just a little too crazy, and it was time to set it down. Score to beat is a 4.916 for Chris Koehler and Mayhem. The score for Brutus and Kevin Crocker is... it's going to be a 7.715. So, not a high score, but that's a solid score, by pretty much any measure. I mean, that was just a good, consistent run front to back, and he had some of everything. Unfortunately, filling the time was not one of those things, and I think that is what brought his score down. Well, fans, we're only 2 runs in. We still have 8 to go. And coming up next, please welcome Joe Foley and the Axe. Joe Foley is coming out here, and I mean, this guy is the one you gotta watch in a competition like freestyle. Joe Foley has made freestyle his own. He has been nicknamed after freestyle. He's so crazy out here in this competition. And now he has the opportunity to show what he can do. Joe Foley in that axe machine. 1 second here, fans. Looks like my, there we go. We're fixed up and ready to go here. Let's get back into the action with... Whoa. Whoa. Just went all over the place. Let's get back into the action here with Joe Foley and the axe machine. Joe's coming out here third in freestyle. 2 of his teammates have already gone. Now he will be the third in a big, big sky wheelie for the axe. There's the slap wheelie he was looking for. Couldn't do it in skills. Why not do it in freestyle instead? Big air over that bust obstacle as well. So Joe Foley and axe, he is off to a nice start. Huge sky wheelie down the side of that bus. Now, what can he do to set himself apart? Well, we're still pretty early into this competition, so there's all sorts of stops that Joe Foley could pull out to wow this crowd that we have not seen yet. And when you're the first to do something, it'll be a lot more impactful. So Joe Foley and axe, oh man, he is just going crazy out here. Big air, great wheelies, just like that. A couple little saves as well. This is just a great way to kick off a run. And he is only 50 seconds in, so that axe machine is just looking great out there on the track. Oh yeah, look at that. Up and over the cars, and it's another wheel. So that axe machine is just absolutely burning it down. So far, I wouldn't say there's been anything too groundbreaking. It's just been the sheer consistency that's made this run stand apart. A nice save right there coming off of a wheelie for the axe as Joe Foley is absolutely killing it. There we go again. Fans, we might see the first backflip attempt. Joe Foley is going to nail it into a little bit of a wheelie as well. So Joe Foley and axe, this is just unreal. He is just killing it out here. Huge air. Maybe he can fill in one more move. Oh no, he will not. He goes over in the turn. What a crazy way to put a run to an end. Joe Foley and the axe is up and he is over. What a freestyle run. I mean, it could have been better at times. I think there were a few times he was a little bit lost, but he had saves, wheelies, air, the backflip, and some crash madness to close it. It wasn't groundbreaking, but it sure had some of everything, and that's what makes a good run stand apart from the rest. So Joe Foley and the axe score to beat 7.715 for Kevin Crocker and the Brutus. The score for the axe is a 9.301. Joe Foley and the axe is your new leader here in freestyle. Fans, 7 competitors still left to go, and coming up next, from one freestyler to the next, it's Tim Jones and the Tailgator. Tim Jones is just someone who you just have to see him at least once in your life. There is no one else like him. He is the definition of driving the truck until the truck will not drive anymore. It doesn't matter if it's a big show, doesn't matter if it's a small show, doesn't matter what truck he's driving, Tim Jones will put on a show, and he's getting some good air right there to kick this off. Big air up those bus obstacles as well. There we go. Nice and vertical for the Tailgator machine. Still no extreme air yet. We've seen decent air. We haven't seen any extreme air. I still think the biggest air might have come out of a couple of those racing passes where they just gassed it to the finish line. So I think some improvement in the air department throughout the night could be nice, but a cool save like that is also never a bad thing. As Tim Jones and the Tailgator is off to a very nice run. There's some of that air I was looking for. Big move for the Tailgator. Oh, there we go. Some more air right there as well. Now, what can Tim Jones do to set himself apart from Joe Foley? So far, I wouldn't say this has been quite as big of a run. The air has been bigger, but there just hasn't been as much action, I wouldn't say. So, he's going to have to figure something like that out here. But I will say, consistency is key, and he has all of that consistency. And a save? Yes, it is. Tim Jones and the Tailgator. What a move. 30 seconds left. He's going for the backflip. He nails the backflip. Oh, he might go for another one. He's going to nail that one too. Tim Jones and the Tailgator. This is what I was saying earlier. It doesn't matter if it's a big show, if it's a small show, what truck he's driving, he will put on the craziest thing that all the fans want to see. He is just going absolutely insane. Maybe he has time to fit in one more move. Oh no! Oh! Oh no! Sets it down! I don't know what that was. Tim Jones and the Tailgator. A crazy mid-air maneuver. That was a hard crash. Hopefully everything's okay for Tim Jones because, I mean, that was not a pleasant landing whatsoever. I don't know. That was a really tough hit. But, in other news, that was the craziest freestyle we have seen here in Ionia. That score to beat is a 9.301 for Joe Foley and Axe. The score for Tim Jones and the Tailgator is... it's a 9.681. Put him at the top. It is not even close. Tim Jones is your new leader. Man, it's no surprise to see him in that top spot after that run, though. I think we could all agree on that. He was just pedal to the metal. Huge air, several saves, crazy crash madness, and 2 backflips. That is just an unmatched level of action from Tim Jones and the Tailgator. Well, fans, we're going to move it into competitor number 5 here tonight. Coming up next, please welcome Makayla Tulachka, Just Get Her Done. This run will mark the halfway point here in freestyle as Makayla Tulachka looks to just get her done. Now, if I was Makayla right now, I'd be pretty scared because I'm not used to doing these big shows. It's not really my cup of tea, and the bar was just set beyond comprehension. So, Makayla's got her work cut out for her. Nice technical moves, though. That was pretty cool. I mean, some drivers didn't even have moves half that good in tonight's skills competition. So that's pretty cool there for Makayla Tulachka, and she is just going at it right now. Maybe a nice save right here as well. So this run is so far has just been a good definition of slow and steady wins the race, you know. And you know, it's that technical focus as well, you know. Technicality has always been something that fans and judges alike like to see. You know, you look back in the day, drivers like Mark McDonald, who, you know, he's not prioritizing huge air, he's prioritizing those low-to-the-ground technical moves that'll get the fans and the judges alike on their feet. Makayla Tulachka's using that driving style tonight, and I'm having a blast watching it. She's now halfway through this run. So far, I will say the lack of momentum has been a little bit rough, but still we've seen some pretty decently cool moves, so she just needs to keep the pace up and needs to pick the pace up, and if both of those things can happen, I think this could be a pretty good scoring run right there for the Just Get Her Done. What a huge wheelie. Makayla Tulachka taking a much different approach than we've been seeing. She is just really highlighting technical ability and those cool things like wheelies and nose wheelies and some nice little saves as well like that. So, it's a very different approach, and I know some people aren't a huge fan of this driving style, but it's nice to get, you know, something that we haven't really seen so far. That's always a good way to get yourself on the board, even if you're not winning. Makayla Tulachka putting out a bit of a different run style. She's looking to end things off here with one last technical move. Up onto the buses, and she is going to park it there as that run comes to an end. Makayla Tulachka, just get her done. Man, what a freestyle. I mean, I know the air wasn't great, and maybe there wasn't a huge wow factor, but the consistent technicality is something that we just don't see super often current day, and I was definitely having a big fan, yep. I was definitely having a good time watching something that we are not super used to seeing on this tour. All things considered, it's not going to be enough to take the lead. That score to be 9.681 for the Tailgator. And the score for Just Get Her Done 2 is, Just Get Her Done Original. It's a 7.816, so not a bad score. That's going to be enough for third place currently in freestyle. On that note, fans, we are officially halfway done, halfway to go. And this is where things are going to get wild, because these are the drivers who have been having the better nights, and they want to go home with the overall championship. And, well, the only way to do that is to burn it down in freestyle. And I'm sure they're all going to be doing that. Coming up next to the track here, kicking off the second half of freestyle, please welcome Jon Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity. Man, Jon Zimmer Jr., he's a great driver, but he has been having some difficulty this season. Whoa! What a crazy moment. He's been having some difficulty this season. That's not to say he hasn't won anything or, you know, had some cool moves at times. He's just not really been up there in points at all. He's been staying middle of the pack pretty much the entire time. And I think that's something that we really need to see him get out of doing. And, hey, so far he's doing a great job of just keeping this run going. He is going full speed, huge air for the Terminal Velocity. Oh, he's got some debris up there in that truck. Hopefully that's not affecting visibility too much. It shouldn't be. Looks like it, he's just adding to the body now. He said, okay, you like the body style? Well, let's make it a little bit more interesting. He is getting some risky hits in here, though, and I think that's something that everyone likes to see is drivers who get risky but keep it under control, as Jon Zimmer Jr. is really defining that driving style right now. Gotta be careful turning into that part of the track where there's a little bit more traction, because we saw Joe Foley go flying over there because of that change. Wow, Jon Zimmer Jr., Terminal Velocity, he's just going to plow it into that bus obstacle, gonna get stuck in it. But he, fortunately, is perfectly fine, and he has now shed the piece of the car that was stuck. It might be backflip time. Nails it. Moonwalks it. Jon Zimmer Jr. and the Terminal Velocity. This is just crazy. I mean, you want to talk about a crazy freestyle? How about a run like this? How can he keep it going, though? Well, he is coming toward the end of time. Oh, no. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, no. That is never how you want to end out a run. He is going to, well, we'll settle with some pretty big damages. I'm not going to say to what, but it's safe to say there were some pretty big damages for the Terminal Velocity. Fortunately, no one was injured or put in danger, so I think we can expect to see Jon Zimmer Jr. still throw it down at that last show coming up, either next week or the week. Sorry, not next week. Next week is a Halloween event. In the next couple weeks, but yeesh, that was a crash. Score to beat 9.681. The score for Terminal Velocity is going to be a 9.015. That is enough for third place currently. So Man, Jon Zimmer Sr., the bad luck machine. Well, nothing says bad luck like destroying everything in sight, both on your truck and the track. Well, fans, only 4 competitors remain. This is where things are going to get really interesting. Coming up next, your hometown driver, please welcome Jim Koehler, Avenger. Jim Koehler, your last remaining representative for Team Scream, and he is in his hometown, so pressure's on for this Michigan man right here. Full speed ahead, and he's getting started. Oh man, a bold play there by the Avenger, going for that ramp that is a little messed up. You know, some drivers are not going to be willing to do that because it's pretty easy to roll it or get some breakages, hitting jumps looking like that, but this is Jim Koehler we're talking about. That is the least of his concerns. Huge air into a big wheelie as well. So, I mean, Jim Koehler and Avenger, he has given us something to look for. Everything that we have been struggling with, particularly that air category, Jim Koehler is just checking it off. He's saying, okay, well, you haven't seen it so far, then I'll be the first. And he is now caught on a car. We have seen this happen several times tonight, and usually it spells pretty bad news for the drivers. Jim Koehler, he is unstuck, and that truck held up. Problem, though, is now he is halfway through his run. He has spent a lot of time stuck on that car. He is going to go for some huge air, though. So Jim Koehler clearly understanding that he just lost some pretty valuable time. He might go over here. Not when he can pull out a save. Nope. Jim Koehler's not over till he says he's over. Unbelievable. What a save for the Avenger. You know, when you're in your home state, though, you gotta go out there and just burn it down. And Jim Koehler and Avenger, I mean, he is doing that right here. It might be backflip time. Nails it. Might be some truck breakage in that front end, but I don't think it's going to stop Jim Koehler. It just might make this last final stretch in this run here a little bit more difficult. Plowing it into that bus. Up and over into another save. Jim Koehler and the Avenger fans, let's hear it. What a run for Jim Koehler. Full of action from front to back. And, you know, the big unfortunate thing there is that he was stuck on that car for a long time. And when you're losing out on a good amount of your freestyle run like that, it's going to hurt your score no matter how crazy the rest of your run is. But I don't even think there's time to talk about scores right now. I think right now we just need to be acknowledging how unreal that run was. I mean, that is the craziest thing I have ever seen. Score to beat, 9.681 for the Tailgator. The score for the Avenger, it's a 9.291. So, you know, it's a little bit low, but he just spent so much time just being stuck at the end of the track. So I'm not surprised to see the score a little bit low, but it is unfortunate because you can tell he was really pushing for his hometown crowd. On that note, fans, only 3 competitors remain, and they are all within 3 points of each other in the overall standings. So, they are all there competing for the overall event win, and I'm sure they all want to walk home with it. For 2 of them, it could be their first overall win, or for 1 of them, it could be his first since the very first event of the season. All these drivers are really looking to take this home, but the first of those 3 remaining competitors is Jon Zimmer Sr. Uproar. Jon Zimmer Sr. has been having such a rough season. If he can burn it down here in freestyle right now, I think that would make up for a lot of it. A slap wheelie, slapping it down twice, so kind of a little bit of a double slap wheelie kind of thing right there. As Jon Zimmer Sr. and Uproar looks to burn it down here. The driver with no shortage of experience, and well, his family name is one of the best in the business right now, with his son Jon Zimmer Jr. just going absolutely haywire at every event possible. Unfortunately, in this show, he went haywire in a way that you don't really want to, but regardless, still someone to look out for. Huge wheelie for Jon Zimmer Sr. Maybe a save. Oh man, what a crazy move. He is spending a lot of time stuck in that corner though. Let's see him get out of there. And he is out of that corner, so Jon Zimmer Sr. in Uproar. Now is where he's going to have to make every second count. Can he pull out a save? He's trying to. He wants that first overall win. He is still going. He pulled it out. What a save. I thought that was done so many times. He just said, no matter what, I am not letting this run be over right now. Huge donuts for the Uproar. Jon Zimmer Sr. has that overall win in his sights. He's got a flat tire, but he is not stopping for anything right now. He is just doing whatever it takes to try and get that freestyle win. Huge wheelie, saving it again. He is just decimating these crush cars, trying to pull it into save number 3 onto those sidewalls, and he does it one last time as that freestyle run comes to an end. Jon Zimmer Sr. Uproar. What a freestyle. Just look at this right here. Complete carnage on that end of the track. Every one of those crush cars is in pieces right now. And no, there's not a single screw holding those pieces together. They are completely ripped apart and thrown across that track. What a run. Score to beat is a 9.681 for Tim Jones and Tailgator. The score for Uproar is... it's a 9.551. So close, but it is only enough for second place currently in freestyle. Fans, only 2 competitors remain. Coming up next, behind the wheel of Bad Company, please welcome John Gordon. At this point in time, we really need to start seeing something new. You know, we saw some incredible saves out there from Jon Zimmer Sr. Now, how can we match that? Or how can we raise the bar from that? Well, John Gordon and Bad Company is the one that's going to have to try and do it. He's looking to get his first overall win in about a month. Oh, whoa! Huge air, and it is a risky send, but it pays off as John Gordon and the Bad Company get started in a crazy fashion out here tonight. He is just sending it right now. No fears in the eyes of John Gordon. Talk about a performance. I mean, we're not even 30 seconds in yet. He's not even qualified for a score yet, and we've already seen all this crazy action. Huge full send once again. Wheelie, oh, into the bus. Oh, this might be the end. Unless he can pull out a save. Yes, he can. John Gordon and the Bad Company. What a save. That is probably my favorite save of the night. That was crazy. Nice and under control while staying ragged edge. That is what a great monster truck save looks like. That page did not touch the ground a single time as John Gordon and Bad Company keeping that thing balanced. Oh, here we go. It's backflip time right away. Oh. What? John Gordon and Bad Company. There is something we haven't seen yet. A picture-perfect walk the plank backflip from the Bad Company machine. He's got about 30 seconds left to really try and find something to do to put himself in that top spot. He is just starting to hit anything in his way at this point. And I mean, what else can you really do? You're in this position. You have seen countless things be put in the runnings for that top spot. None of them could do it. John Gordon pushing his truck as he tries to be the one to take it away, but he's going to end up on the lid. What a freestyle by the Bad Company. John Gordon had all these fans on their toes the whole time, on the edge of their seats wondering, what is he going to do next? And every time he lived right up to the expectations. Incredible freestyle run by the Bad Company. Score to beat 9.681 for the Tailgator. The score for Bad Company is... It is a 9.596. So close to that top spot. But that is only enough for second place right now for the Bad Company machine. Fans, on that note, only one competitor remains. He's looking to grab his first overall win of the season. And he is your Skills Challenge winner. Please welcome to the track, Brandan Tulachka, Just Get Her Done 2. Brandan Tulachka, man, he's been having such a great night. Now he's in the opportunity to take home his first overall event win of the season. You know he's going to be driving like it counts right now because, well, it really does. And look at this. Starting off with the best technical moves that I think we have seen in freestyle so far. Obviously, we saw some crazier things in skills, but still, it's always nice to give us, give that little bit of a crossover. Yes, there is the skills competition, but that doesn't mean fans don't want to see those moves in freestyle as well. Brandan Tulachka is going to make that happen, and he's going to pull off a huge wheelie into a little bit of a crazy save right there. Big air once again by the Just Get Her Done 2 machine. He is just going at it right now. Oh man. He is really pushing this truck to its limits. So far though, no full sends. Never mind. There we have it. Full send for Just Get Her Done 2. Oh no! And the hopes of an overall event win come to an end as Brandan Tulachka's full send is going to turn into an early rollover here in freestyle. A great effort by that Just Get Her Done 2 machine, but unfortunately, he's going to leave 50 seconds on the clock. Score to beat, 9.681 for Tim Jones. The score for Just Get Her Done 2 is... It's a 7.517, not enough for that top spot. Fans, I'm going to quickly count up all these scores, take a look at the overall standings, and get ready for that encore. I'll see you all right after this short intermission. Alright, fans, thank you all for waiting that short minute right there. The overall points have been counted up. Your overall event champion, Jon Gordon and Bad Company, with 26 points to his name. However, there are some other interesting things to discuss. Jon Zimmer Sr., after a very rough season, stuck in the bottom of points, has gotten second in the overall standings tonight with 23 points. That is only 3 points below first place. So this is an absolutely huge event for Jon Zimmer Sr. Not because he won, but because he finally found success. And I think that's something worth celebrating. My apologies there. I think that is something worth celebrating because, I mean, he's just had such rough luck the whole time. Brandan Tulachka just got done 2, took home third with a total of 20 points. So, that's something pretty interesting there as well. Tim Hall Jr. stayed consistent. He got 4th. The real talk, though, you want to talk about all these drivers at the top of points? What you have to talk about is the fact that Chris Koehler, your series leader coming into this show, placed dead last in every single competition. Dead last in every competition. Only taking home 3 points. The series standings have not yet been fully counted up. I don't know if he lost that series lead yet. That's going to be something that you fans will have to figure out. Keeping an eye on those community posts. Regardless, that's rough. Chris Koehler is in huge trouble, and unless he can really stay consistent in that last show, he's not going anywhere. He's not making it to Lamar unless he really locks into that last show. Well, fans, on that note, that is your overall standings, or I guess what you need to know from those standings. But why don't we get into that encore freestyle? You all knew it was coming. We always do encore freestyles here. And it's time to get into this one here in Michigan. It's all about Team Scream. Now, this driver has not driven with Team Scream in 3 years, but it's his hometown too. Why not let him throw it down? Please welcome Craig Champion Brutus. Craig Champion is really a forgotten face, but he has had some of the craziest moments in a monster truck I have ever seen. No one could ever forget that double barrel roll maneuver thing he did after going for a front flip attempt. I mean, that was just crazy. Craig Champion is someone you gotta see at least once in your life. I said that same thing about Tim Jones. I'll say it about Craig Champion too. Not because he's an outstanding driver, but just because he will go out there and do some crazy things, and you just gotta see it happen. Looks like he's just coming out here to burn it down, though. Giving a few nice hits. Oh, he's slowing it down. He might be going for something early here. We see him do this in his mega truck all the time. Now it looks like he's going to go for it in the monster truck. It's a backflip. Oh, no. Wait, no. A short-lived encore by Craig Champion and Brutus. Not able to keep it on all fours. I knew it was weird to go for a backflip early. I guess he felt confident, but couldn't keep it alive. On that note, fans, that does bring this event here in Ionia to an end. This was a weird show. Some things about this show were extraordinarily good, and some things about this show were extremely and unmatched levels of bad, such as Chris Koehler's performance in every single competition that put him in dead last. In the overall, not in the series standings. We're not to that yet. We'll figure that out next week, or maybe the week after, because next week is the Superstar. Regardless, wow, that was a show. Crazy moves from some competitors. I want to put the spotlight on Tim Jones doing 2 backflips in his run. Jon Gordon pulling off a killer save. Same thing with Jon Zimmer Sr. Both of them absolutely cooking. Jon Zimmer Sr. finally making it onto a podium for once. Jon Gordon getting his first overall since the first event of the season. And Chris Koehler dropping it down low into the points. Well, fans, thank you all for coming out here in Ionia. It was a great show, but I'll see you all next week. A week from today, back with Max Amudio and Brett Knackley for a special Halloween Superstar Challenge. You're not going to want to miss it. Be there or be square.